Western.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Florence regular council meeting and public hearing today here at City Hall. It's Tuesday, September 6th, 2022. Time is 6 p.m. Sorry, that was the invocation. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the many days you give us. Thank you for our city and our citizens and surrounding communities. Thank you, Lord, that we could come here and make decisions for the city's well-being. Help us to do everything we do in your honor, and help us to make the right decisions together. In Jesus' name, amen. We stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman John S. Goss. Here. Councilman Louis E. Hardy Jr. Here. Councilwoman Andrea Cole.
Here.
Mayor Todd Harrelson.
Here.
Councilman Gerald D. Patty Jr. Councilman Michael E. Suggs. Here. Councilwoman Jan P. Liscott.
Here.
Public hearing.
Yeah, so we have a public hearing scheduled at the regular council meeting Tuesday, September 6th at 6 o'clock. It's in reference to press and public questions or comments on ordinance 05-22, an ordinance to adopt a schedule of fees and charges for the city of Lower South Carolina water and wastewater system.
Is there nobody will speak? No questions about the ordinance for the wastewater system?
Any press or public?
Okay.
I got no prior to the meeting, but I was a message saying, hey, can please send prior to the meeting.
Right.
The email was, I did not get it there.
Okay. Councilor Mary, anything? No.
No.
Do we need to wait any period of time? No. Attorney Moss for.
You don't need to wait any time, but you've got it in the business section for an ordinance, so you might have to even call for a motion.
Okay.
Just in the business section of the agenda.
Okay. We'll do that. And we'll go ahead and and move on to the mayor's report. What I'm gonna do, instead of you being first, Samantha, I'm gonna go first. I got something I want to turn on. Stand over here, so see what.
Jack Welch once said, "Change before you have to." How true that is. Championship leaders understand that in order to remain relevant and competitive, they must foster a culture that embraces change. When you think about the brands that have been around for 100+ years, how they looked in the beginning is much different than how they look now. They changed. The brands they once competed with no longer exist. Why? They didn't change. Grace Hopper once said, "The most dangerous phrase in language is, 'We've always done it this way.'" As the leader, you must relentlessly fight this mindset. Don't allow your team to focus on how things used to be, because used to be's don't make honey. Instead, focus on how things are gonna be. Gonna be's make honey. Gonna be's have a clear vision of the future and how they need to grow in order to become that better version of themselves. They understand constant growth requires constant change. Remember what John Maxwell once said, "Change is inevitable. Growth is optional." Close your eyes and visualize what things will look like in 3 years. How will you need to evolve in order to meet that vision and be a front runner in your space when the time comes? What changes do you need to make? Start making those changes now. As the leader, you have the remote. If you don't like the channel you're on, nobody can change it but you. So stand up and change it. And don't be afraid of the naysayers. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, "Do what you feel is right, for you will be criticized anyways." Trust your instincts. Pursue your vision. Even if no one else sees it, just start the journey. The others will follow. And stay ready. New levels will bring new devils. But the higher you climb, the stronger you'll get. Take pride in being a professional problem solver as you rise. Remind your team that every change you make is an effort to get better. You don't change for the sake of changing. Like Jim Rohn said, life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. At the core behind every big change is a why, and that why is to get better.
When I first saw that, it was huge to me. I think, and I think that a lot of people in Loris now are embracing the changes that we've had. Everybody from PD, the hospital, the citizens. What I'm asking is that all the council and everybody in this building, which most people in this building have embraced change, because there's been a lot. We've had a lot of change, but it's, you do make mistakes, but I'm gonna tell you what, the change that we've seen so far has been awesome. It has been so awesome. And people tell me all the time, how much better it's getting, how much better PD is, how much better the rec department is, how much better the city hall is, how much better everything is. From the streets to Christmas to everything we're doing. And it's all done because of embracing the change we have. And I just want everybody to embrace the change, even though it's hard sometimes. It's always been hard for me to change certain things. But most of the times when I did change them, it worked out for my better also. But you can go right on YouTube and look at that. I've looked at it a bunch of times and it's just so impressive to me. And it is so true. I mean, those places and those, just like Coke and Pepsi, if they hadn't changed, they'd have been some of those drinks that nobody drinks anymore. So I mean, I just want everybody, council included, to embrace the change that we have, because that's what we got, and it's gonna bring good. It's gonna bring a whole lot of good. Yeah. Samantha?
You want me to follow that?
You rest it. You are embracing the change too.
Well, I have to say that I have, personally embraced change, and I hope that people enjoy the changes that I have made. We did add the restaurant and renovating some of the Main Street businesses, and the bakery soon will be open, so I'm happy to be a part of that growth and change. And as well, I will go into the Bog Festival because it's coming up, and I have changed that as well. So we got some new stuff coming up for Bog. So the first thing is October 1st, we got the Miss Loris Bog Festival pageant, so that's going on. I'm taking applications for that. And October 15th will be the 43rd annual Loris Bog Festival consecutive. I will say very proudly. That's my new word when I talk about Bog. So we haven't skipped a beat on that. But we have added some new things going on this year. We're gonna do a Touch a Truck as new this year. We're working on Top Bog, which I don't know if y'all have seen anything about that. So we're gonna bring in some professional cooks and previous chicken bog winners. And I'm gonna give them a 6-quart cast iron pot. I'm gonna provide them all the food. I'm going to, it's gonna be a timed event. They have 2 hours and they have to use the supplies that I provide. So I'll have chicken, sausage, rice, spices, all that kind of stuff, but they can only use what's on the table. And they have to make a chicken bog and present it to the judges within 2 hours. And so they get $1,000 cash prize for that. And so that's exciting. And I don't know if people know about Little Spiders Creations. So they're a new company here in Loris, and they make movie props. And they are working on a haunted house that they're gonna have in the month of October. And their sets are amazing. I have went and looked at it, and I was just telling Jan earlier that I seen the first room, and I'm not gonna lie, some people may know this. I didn't realize that Jan was much younger than me till just about 15 minutes ago. Because I said, it looks like you're walking into the old high school, and she's like, oh, I've never been there. And I'm like, okay, well, never mind, that doesn't help me any. But the back part, when you walk in, older people, the ones that when you walk in the back of the admin, that whole arch thing, it looks just like that. So I was just like, this is kind of creepy. So, but we're proud to partner with them to provide a haunted house. So they're doing that. And but yeah, we're excited about it. And that's all I got for now. Oh, no. So let me tell you about the historical side real quick. We are putting up the wall material. So the walls are almost done. And we're to the point where we're getting ready to put in a sprinkler system, and I think we'll be open for business. So we are almost there, and I'm super excited about that. And our youth leadership Loris program is going to start in about 2 weeks. And from my understanding, I think we have 27 applications, and I hear thank you is in order to Ms. Jan for helping us obtain that many, but we have 27 applications for this program. I'm assuming everybody knows what youth leadership course is, no? So when we were at coffee with the mayor, what, 3 months ago, maybe?
Something like that.
So.
It was in April or May.
Yeah, so that is true. And Caitlin Dean, I was about to call her Rhodes, but Caitlin Dean came with her student council. Oh, you're student council.
She was checking.
Well, Jan, I did not realize that. Okay, I learned something new. But anyway, city council came from Loris High School, and they were very intrigued, and they wanted to be involved, and they had a lot of questions, and it kind of like spurred us to have a youth leadership program. And we've kind of like collected people to kind of help us get there, and we're going to have curriculums for them and financial information and people from different walks of life, like different C.J. Cooper, HCC, that kind of stuff to help them out. So we're working on that, and we're going to start that, but we got applications, and there was 27. I was like, if we could get 10, that would be great, but we ended up with 27, and so I'm so happy about that. So that kicks off the 15th of September. Will be our first orientation class. So we got a lot of stuff going on. Change.
That's right.
But I went and looked at that place too. The guy does a fantastic job on making those I think Steve, you were there, we saw Smith got a
Yeah.
tour through there. That guy's, he's very talented.
You know, if y'all
Great
have not
job.
been over there, I don't mind you going in there, it's really neat to go in there. I go every couple of weeks to kind of see what they're doing, and they're supposed to be making me a chicken for the bog off, so I keep asking them where it's at. Cause they used to have like a 20-foot chicken that sat on top of it looked like a building or a tube or something. I kept trying to beg them to put it on top of the chamber, but they told me they had to take it somewhere, so.
When you make those figurines, they look real. They look really, they're fabulous on those figurines.
Yeah, I mean, this is not like I would make a set. I mean, these are like full-blown movie sets that they're doing.
And where is it located?
It's like located right beside CVS, so it's like CVS, and then the Norris Freight is the long one, and then there's the shorter warehouse, so.
Okay.
It's a little small one, right beside the railroad track.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
And the
That's really
student
good.
council and youth leadership group is going to help sell VIP passes, so if anybody needs a pass for the haunted house, let me know, and I can get you with the students that are helping sell those.
That's awesome. And before I sit down, I just want to tell Bill Lee, thank you for everything y'all did today, a great job, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, there goes from everybody. Let's see, we'll get on to the McLeod Loris Hospital report. I spoke with Scott Montgomery. He said, new doctor started, Dr. Shannon Smith, Southern Medical Associates. She has started. And, they have a lot of very small projects, too many to name, but, have new OR coming online after the first of the year. So they're really growing there. They're working on preparing the switch electronic medical records in December. And that news is great for the hospital, and the offices will all be on one system. From SMA to the hospital to McLeod in Florence to Seacoast, all of them. So, COVID's quiet, and that's even better. So, but it's still around. It's definitely still around. It's a lot better than it has been. They're really doing a fantastic job with McLeod, for this neighborhood and all the surrounding communities. And they do, even though some people think that this hospital will phase out, it won't. This hospital offers things that Seacoast doesn't offer. Just like they have a whole floor, for the babies. They don't do anything at Seacoast. The babies come to Loris people. So, I mean, they're specializing each hospital in its own way. So nothing's getting phased out, everything's just growing bigger, and there's a lot more beds. And, matter of fact, their Carolina Forest Hospital was, that they're getting, they were okayed for 50 beds. And, Myrtle Beach was okay for none.
Mhm.
So, I mean, they're making big strides. And we be proud of our hospital here in Loris. Coffee with the mayor is this Thursday. That's the 8th at 9 a.m. And, I think Councilwoman Vescovi's bringing a group of, how many did you say?
About 18.
18. So there'll be 18 high school kids in there. And the last time that the high school kids came was when Samantha was talking about, and we had an absolute ball. I mean, it was great. They had a great time. The kids participated, and it was really good. I think everybody enjoyed it. The adults, the kids, everybody. Coffee with the mayor, sat there at 9 a.m. just for nothing special, just everything. Outside communities, people inside the city, outside the city, come by, drink coffee, ask questions, not have to worry about stepping out of line or hearing the gavel or have you sign up and talk, you can just talk. So, and that's this Thursday. I'll hand it over to city administrator.
Like Mayor and Council too. I know I left a bunch of stuff up there, a lot of stuff I've already given out before. I just wanted to give you a quick update on the Horry County American Rescue Plan proposal. We submitted in back in July. Horry County Council meeting tonight at 6 o'clock. So just wanted to give you a heads up. We did get out of committee, which that was the most important thing. So it should be a full county council tonight at 6 o'clock. My understanding is on the consent resolution, so more like ours deal with everybody else's. So I guess what it is, they either pass all of them or none of them. So I think we should have a pretty good chance of that. I would like for you to look at just the breakdown of it is it's a water line improvement from Main Street, Walnut Street. It's a $500,000 grant from Horry County. City's going to match it for $103,795. Part of that grant is a lead and copper inventory study. So less, our match would actually be less. We can add that into that, but it's right here for this to be in. I would recommend taking $103,795 out of the American Rescue Plan monies that we have and match that part of that grant to there. There is a contingency part of that grant, so that's good and bad. I see Ricky stuff back there in the back. Sometimes that's good and bad. I don't know. I hope the prices are stabilized on everything. So hopefully, I think this price is pretty accurate. So I just want to give you an update on that so we can know where we go. So I think we should hear something after tonight in Horry County. That's why I got it on the agenda under business A to add that to 103,795. That way we can go ahead before Horry County passes. We can go ahead and start that process and we can start going and advertising the process. The number B is Sacramento Infrastructure Investment Program grant is through the RIA, Sacramento Rural Infrastructure Authority. You can apply for actually 3 different grants. We qualify for two grants. One is a community impact grant, and another was a viability grant. I did give you some information. We're about to finish. We've been using Marsha Smith with the Waccamaw Regional Council Governors who came with us last week. I've been doing writing. I've got Ryan Hayes, he's giving some information on it too. I've been working with all 3 of us. We kind of work together. This is the grant that we proposed. I think the committee recommended it ended up being $5,339,636. If you see this part here, it's highlighted on here too. So we're asking for RA funding of $500,000 match, and our match is $300,969. And then $300,000 we're going to use to buy some additional meters anyway. So additional meters for our water source system. So if you look at the grant proposal, the $300,969 is actually tied to that grant proposal. So this is
Before they finish, all the accounts will have official new AMR meters, and that'll count as a match, because that's how we bill our sewer outlets by those meters. So that'll qualify and match, so when we need a meter meters.
So if we get the grant, basically the $300,000, and you get $500,000 match from RIA, that gets you the way to go. The way the grant's proposal is going to work, the viability grant, which is the next on there, you're either going to get one or the other. You're not going to get both. So either we're applying for both grants, RIA has the opportunity to fund one or the other. So they'll evaluate both the grants actually, and they'll decide which one they're going to do. One of the things with the construction, I call it the community impact grant, construction type grant, is RIA is requiring a 25% contingency match. That's a little bit, that's a little high comparatively, but RIA is making sure, when I went to their grant requirements that they require to go to, when I went to their grant session up in Florence, I say they require everybody in the state to put in 25% contingency plan, just because of the way the fluctuation of pricing is being with everything out there. They want to make sure if they fund this application, they don't want to have to go back in and say, okay, I'm 30,000 or 50,000 short based on contingency. So that contingency, if you look at that, that's 25%. It's pretty high. You think, Rick, we might?
Yeah, but I think we can also back up, and I could be wrong on this, but I think we can use the money that we, for the lift stations that we approved. That's being, that can be put in there as money for the, match money.
Yeah, I'll add that to that too. Yeah, that may help.
That'll help some, because they approved 4 of those, and they're being done, one of them been done.
Yeah, that'll help some too. That'll help some too. And I'll rearrange that too. All the these 2 grant applications have to be in by 5 o'clock on next Monday. We're shooting for Thursday or Friday this week to have both of them done. Viability grant is this one here. It shows actually 6 steps to go. I've got it done twice here. If you look on the last page, this is kind of, both these grants, just to give you an idea, both these grants are about 15 to 20 pages long, so they're not a 1-page application. They're pretty extensive application process. This one here is viability grant. I've probably done 3 weeks of hard writing, at least on that, between myself and Marshall. Viability grant here, if you look at the last page, it'll be six aspects that we'll look at listed down there, and it'll be, we're estimating that to be about $640,000. There's no city match required for that. So if you do get awarded that grant here, there'll be no city match that'll be required for that project.
What does it mean, sewer trunk line 1, 2, and 3? What is sewer trunk line? I'm asking.
Sewer trunk line is the main lines through the city. That would be the main infrastructure. That would be,
It's kind of like the main line that goes out of your house to the sewer system. It's the main line that carries the sewer to.
right, it'd be like where it's actually where your sewer leaves your house and it goes out into the street, then that is the trunk system. That is the main lines.
Viability grant, we decided on because we'll tell you what your system actually consists of, and everything that needs to be done to it. What it amounts to.
Clayton, we know which one, if we get one, when's the time frame we think we might hear back on that?
Basically, I'm hoping we'll submit it in by Monday, of course, of next week. And hopefully by October, sometime middle to in October, we should know one way or another which way they're going to go. I think they're trying to award everything sometime before this end of this fiscal year, so they can get started shortly after.
I appreciate the time and effort you put in to get both of those completed for us. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, I'll say one quick, and I do agree with you. I mean, the problem is that the money came to the state didn't actually release the guidelines until July this year. So normally, for a normal situation, you would have a grant that you would have a year's lead time to know what the requirements are. They were still developing the guidelines even up until July. So really, so technically, when you kind of what it was going to be like with the final guidelines, what really established in July, the legislature came back into the RA came back into the legislature, said this is what we're doing. So it's been I want to thank us and staff and making some of these people too for helping us put some of this stuff together. It's been a process.
It's a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a huge opportunity.
I know you've got a lot of other things on your plate you've been working diligently on too, of course, so I appreciate you putting in the extra time and effort. I know that took a lot to get that ready. Thank you.
I appreciate that too.
I assure you that there's been a lot, like Jenna and Keith and everybody
Some other staff
downstairs.
too, the light staff.
They have really hit it hard to catch up with things and do extra so that other people could focus on that. So, I mean, it's been a tremendous group effort. And so, my hats off to everybody within City Hall building, and I'm sure council feels the same way. It took a lot.
Yes.
It took a lot.
A lot more complicated than I thought. Number C is South Carolina Office of Resiliency Grant Application Stormwater. I got some information from the Municipal Association, this is part right here. They've got a grant program. Unfortunately, the applications due in September and October. So, we will submit in an application. So in October, you'll see council, unfortunately, council do another grant application. We'll be submitting for this. We do, the good part about it is that the city did do some work a number of years ago and got Earthworks to do a project for us to help with that. So some of the information that they're requesting for this grant, I can use some of that information that was done back in 2019, which is nice. So Earthworks did a pretty good job of collecting some information. This grant here is $55 million coming from the feds to South Carolina Office of Resiliency. There's no match associated with it, and there's no maximum. So what it will do is basically, as you see in this outline again here, is that it will deal with stormwater issues associated with storm. If you look on the back page, it says infrastructure traditional and infrastructure green. We're going to look at both of those aspects. As everyone knows here, and you and I talked, we've got a number of different areas around the city that flood during the hurricane season, even during rainy seasons. We have lots of areas that have tendency to flood. A study that was done by Earthworks was really great. It was some really good information. It showed flows, flow chart, showed maps, it showed all the stuff that they were looking for. I think. We will basically put together probably a proposal, get back with the Public Works Committee, probably to go over that and work out the details like we did before.
Yeah.
So we'll probably get with your committee, get on that. And then one other follow-up thing to this, and this is one reason why I want to kind of look at this grant here, is that this is a very competitive grant, but there's another $50 million the state has, which is tied into the same office, but it's a different grant proposal, which we would definitely qualify for. So my question is that, even though we may do the work for this grant and submit in, we may get it. I feel like we got a good shot to get it. If we don't get it, I want to turn right around and apply for the April grant, which is basically the same thing. But the April grant gives us, the city of Lawrence, we meet more of the criteria for the one that's in April when we do this. But I mean, I think we need to apply for both.
Is it possible that we would be able to get both of those,
Yep.
or is that a situation where you can only get one or the other?
Yeah, that would be my goal, is to get both of them. If we can go ahead and get one this time, and then we'll turn around in April and get. And what that would do, just to give everybody, it would basically take the areas that we're dealing with, is mainly where areas over by the ball field, by our recreation complex, and then as it runs through the city, we can address those areas of Earthworks that, hey, needs to be, new culverts need to be put in. We can take stuff out and put in some green aspects. To take anything to do to slow the water down and slow the water from flooding this up here. So that's what the goal of this grant is, and that's what we'll be trying to do is try to figure out what can we do. We'll probably be going to the public too and asking them for some input, saying, hey, based on natural rain and flood situations, this is an impact. Based on our study, this is what we think. So I think that they are pretty, as y'all know here, they're pretty serious at the state level of helping you out on that aspect. So they're going to do everything they can, and I think we've got a great opportunity. One other quick thing I'll follow, I'll be very brief, is I have met with Horry County. I met with Tom and his group that deal with Tom Ross and his group, Horry County Stormwater. He's over Stormwater Management Group for Horry County. He has actually been helping me with this grant a little bit, so I didn't know if y'all kind of use their staff a little bit at Horry County. I'm some council about that. We've been working with them extensively to help them get us do some stuff. But, hopefully, we'll be getting back to the Public Works Committee probably in the next 2-3 weeks, something like that, by the end of this month. Should be the target.
I think we need all the help we can get.
I've been using that, using some of their staff. They haven't complained yet, so we're doing that. Number D is Safety Troop Rural Economic Development Program grant for $10,000 for this fiscal year in 2022. We have submitted in the grant information to them. They have already sent me an email back saying that we qualified this year for the $10,000 for this fiscal year, which is in December of 2022, and we can turn around and reapply again for another $10,000 after December. So we may do that and we may tie that into the program, but, we pretty much got the grant, we sent out the letter, sent out the information, pretty much got the, so I feel good about that. One of the things, that's all, I'll cover that one down here in the business section. The other one is purchasing clerk, grants coordinator. I got some information on that. I may look at, I've got a position open in street maintenance, all right? Street maintenance on that part there too. And, I've been looking at trying to see what I can do to help me with purchasing and grants. The grants are getting where they're up here. As you can see, we've already applied for 4 or 5 already. We're not even in the grant writing system. We'll probably, after the first year of doing the grant system, it kicks into effect there until about the 1st of June. It's usually a big time period for applying for grants. So I may actually use this position for a purchasing, which I think we definitely need for internal controls and stuff like that. So I may have to talk about that too. That's all I have.
That's it?
I'm sorry for taking that much time.
A little bit of stuff. Right. See, committee reports, we have, finance and personnel committee report.
Yes, the Personnel and Finance Committee actually met on Monday, August the 8th. And we were given information about general leave and sick leave policy, human resources issues, and things, financial procedures manual, internal controls. That's pretty much it.
Thank you. Ms. Galson, that's true. We're gonna go back and readdress that with the committee very soon. Because I think we were pretty close the last time we met, we were pretty close on some of the.
Thank you for that. Public safety committee.
We did not meet this past month, but we are looking to work out a schedule to meet in the next week or two to discuss a couple of issues.
Buildings and ground committee.
That met, Jim.
Recreation committee.
We did not meet this past month.
Planning, annexation, economic development committee.
That's, Councilman Patch's committee. We haven't met, but he and I've talked 2 times about the comprehensive plan for zoning and zoning ordinance. Carol Coleman, who was leading that program up, actually left. She moved to Greenwood, so they changed staff members, so we're in the process of trying to organize that. So I think that Waccamaw Original Council of Governments is in the process of helping us do that. I'll touch base with Councilman Patch.
Okay.
Move forward.
Public Works Committee.
Public Works, we actually did meet several times this month. These grants.
Yeah, we met 3 or 4 times.
We did, and we talked a lot. And there's one huge grant out there that amounts to about $10 million. We were going back and forth, but the match on it, we felt like was just way too much for us. It would put us in a bind to try to make a match on it. So
That's correct.
we came up with the 5 million, which will do a lot of what we need to do on our water and sewer stuff. So, but anyway, Clay pretty much filled y'all in about everything we talked about.
Yeah, I would just follow up. Yeah, this committee will be making a good bit this month. Because we've got the ship grants, we can follow up on that, the Warrior County grant, and then this resiliency grant too. I think we need to hit running pretty hard on this one. It's not.
Thank you, Council. It takes a right good bit of time for these committees to meet. These councilmen and councilwomen, they spend a lot of time doing this stuff. Along with these guys, after they've been here all day long, they stay. They just like to not right on into the night. So it can be trying sometimes. That's what it takes to get everything done right. Thank you for the committee reports, plans of the new meetings. So, in the business section. All right. Okay, that.
We adopt resolution 01-22 amendment 3. It's a resolution to state primary intended uses of a portion of the first installment of the City of Lower South Carolina allotment of local fiscal recovery funds through the American Rescue Plan Act and for other purposes. Amendment 3 comes in the amount that you heard Administrator Young talk about earlier, which is $103,795. That's for the ARPA match for grant. And this will be the third time we've amended. I think Mr. Councilman Suggs requested about amendments to keep up, with this property, because of each amendment will have to go into the project and that system to the feds. So it will help us out.
Right.
So that's the difference, and that's why it's been amended.
If you look at the difference, we got 687, 273.59, and spent, if you approve the 103, 795, and we spent 566, 229.2, which leaves us 121,052. So we're still under the first initial installment. We will get the next installment.
September 27th.
So it's coming up about 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
And how much will we get that?
Same
So the
amount,
same amount, another 600,000.
687,000,
Okay.
237.59.
Does anybody on council have anything or make a motion?
Motion to approve resolution 01-22 amendment number 3.
Second. Second.
Councilman, let's go. All in favor? Motion passes. Move on to B.
Adopt resolution 02-22. It's a resolution committing the city of Lourdes to provide a local match for the municipal association of South Carolina Hometown Economic Development Group and following its procurement policy when securing services involved with grant funds. Our match will be $1,250 for 25,000. We meet the 5% local match to our size and census.
Can I get you to change one little thing and add economic and downtown development to master plan and put something in third there? Make that motion.
Can you say
With
what you
those
want
changes.
again?
Economic and downtown development master plan study, which he's got it right, but it's just, I want to add, that's what we add.
And masters.
And then September 30th, instead of September 24th. If that's okay,
Yeah, that's
it's almost minor.
motion to do that.
Can I say couple things before we make the motion? If you look at the document I gave out, which is this here, what you gave out too, and then if you look on the back page, it kind of should, the other stuff shows you, which I've shown you before, how to break it down. The proposed expenses are 110,000. It's probably a little high. It's probably going to be around the 90,000 mark, but I'm going high if I can. Again, if we get the 25,000 from the municipal association, which is getting rid of 10,000 people, at least the city was 75,000, which you can take out of ARPA money. But I'm hoping to get some more money through another grant, and I'm hoping 110 is going to be about 90. It should be, so our range should be around 60 to 70,000. But I did want you to know that too. It should take about 12 months to get it. But I do have to have the resolution passed to be able to send in the grant by the end of the month. So the only thing we're committing to is the 1,250, even though I know we're going to put a bit more than that in the 1,250. We're only committed to the 5%, like 25,000, based on the criteria that the municipal association said. So. So if you can make the motion with these changes, I appreciate it.
Make a motion to approve resolution 02-22 with the amendments added with state hometown economic development and master plan. In the first paragraph, and that the date at the bottom would be September 6, 2020.
September 3rd. September 3rd. Good. I'm due by September 3rd. Sorry. That's good, that's right.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. C. Second reading ordinance 0522.
Yes, this is a 05-22 ordinance to adopt a schedule of fees and charges for the city of Laurel, South Carolina water and wastewater system. This covers water interface charges, usage charges, and all the other tax and so charges will be applied.
This is what the public hearing was about earlier.
Yes, so this is the public hearing ordinance that was scheduled.
We'll make a motion on that. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. D, discussing the petition of annexation. Yes.
There. All right, this is the Lawrence Developers LLC, on this parcel, PIN number 177-00-00-0031. I provided council with a map, looks like this in the back. The purple is our city limits, and obviously the parcel that's dark, in other words, with X's on it that I added, so you can see is the in question parcel of land. It is contiguous to the city, not solely by the road, because that is not solely on the they do have plans to possibly develop it, but those plans would also have to go to see the plus planning commission, might also have to look for those. But they won't be annexed into the city. So it's on 701 right there, so North, this is an L-shaped property running behind the Forest Motel and comes out there.
What's that current zone?
All right, so the current, there's two zonings that are out there. Everything off the bottom of this is commercial. The only thing that's adjourning for that, for our zoning, would be R17 or R2. And so they're gonna have to take a look at, what they feel is the best zoning for that.
The petition is contingent on them doing what I'm saying. Bank usually is
Right. I don't know why they want, I asked the guy to go ahead and send a rough of some plans, because they did speak of streetscapes and walkways and things out there, they're really nice, but they're also not gonna be doing DOTs and other things. I tell them, as soon as we can get them, I'd also get the plan commission too, so I was like, taking looks at that. And the city attorney as well.
big development like that, I think we have to take a look at how it's gonna impact the structure and everything else. before we
And
Determinations we give to the city.
they did say that, that obviously the development plans are all common, but they want them to see whatever they decide to do.
Yeah.
I provided all the paperwork they provided as well, setting up who had authority to signature on any legal documents. In parcel, so I can look at, try to figure out where it's at and what's adjacent to it. And this is what Mr. Councilman Patty requested, because this is thing that we all want, before we have quite every document we need.
Right. We got everything we need now. I'm definitely in favor of annexing that piece of property into the city. Council, has anything? Anything to add? Any questions, any more questions?
This will be our first reading of this, direct.
This is.
This is just the
Down
accept
over to the
petition.
planning commission.
If you accept the petition, you refer to the planning commission, to come back with a recommendation. This is on-
Now we get a motion to accept the petition for annexation.
I saw you,
Second,
second.
let's do it by, well,
Councilwoman John L. Dawes,
Yes.
Councilman Lewis C. Lloyd Jr.,
Yes.
Councilwoman Yvonne Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Tom Harrison,
yes.
Michael E. Sudders,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jan Hillsdale.
Yes.
Okay. We move on to E, discussing petition of annexation of parcel funds.
This petition of annexation is for PIN number 152-16-01-0008. This parcel of land is actually out where Tractor Supply is currently building their store. The reason that they're asking for this to be annexed in is because they had to buy another parcel of land from the owner of that dealership, and the owner of that land. So this is actually done after they've purchased and starting to build. And they would like that being the city, so it would match the property they're currently building their store on. That's their construction interest. So when they get done, their loading and unloading and stock stuff will come through that particular access road, because the DOT will not allow it to have one off the frontage road because of the size of the truck. And obviously the purple is city limits, so it is.
And that makes perfect sense. With it all being in the city and stuff.
And since it was the Lord's Development Group, LLC on this one, we also asked them to write affidavit of authority and chairman, which they did.
Thank you. A motion on that?
Make a motion to accept that petition.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
No.
Motion passes. One more, F, is, first reading of ordinance 632, another annexation.
Yes, first reading of ordinance 06-22, ordinance annexation. The PIN number 176-12-01-004. That is essentially a copy of the annexation of all the ordinance. I think it's almost, I think I provided it as well. The recommendation letter from the planning commission is also, should be in that small packet right here. They recommended that it was, be zoned as general business district. Provided a copy of it. And I think in the back is also a small map.
Where's that at?
Should be on the very back.
The third page.
Okay.
Could you repeat again what the zoning committee recommendation is? I lost it. It's on
On
the
the
last.
last page.
It looks like that this time.
Yeah, but you,
They go, the letter recommendation says the city of Lawrence Planning Commission met August 2nd, 2022, at 6 p.m. for that parcel. And that they recommended that it be annexed into the city with the assigned parcel to the general business district, which is C2. And that joins everything that's in the city limits, that's the same.
Right.
That's on that they have.
okay,
So,
Get a motion on that.
I thought the planning and annexation committee talked about this and the question whether it was contiguous or not to the city limits.
They did, we did reach out to DOT as well about the issues with that driveway beside that. DOT did not mind. They felt that it was contiguous, or that them owning it would not make it not contiguous. And he handled that. So I provided that to the planning commission as well. And that's the only thing they asked. I told them, all the concerns with that property.
The property is not contiguous to the city. If you look at the surveys, the DOT map they made for repairing that road and lighting that road, the property is not contiguous to the city limits.
And also, in terms of, took 10 minutes.
I had offered the opinion to the council before that for zoning purposes and continuity purposes, it is contiguous. And I based that on the Supreme Court of South Carolina's opinions. And I sent that to some of the council opinions. For purposes of zoning, continuity does not actually require an actual touching.
You know,
It does. And when you have a public right of way or a highway, it's disregarded. But for that highway or right of way being lying between properties, they would be considered to abut. That is the way the courts have analyzed the statutes. The word abut, the word contiguous is not actually defined in the annexation statutes. So we look at the case law. And I provided that, and I can read what the passages by history and what the Supreme Court, how the Supreme Court would say. And so, while I'm pulling it up, I'll also tell you that no one that's a stranger to the annexation could challenge it. And which means that the only person that can challenge the action is the very person that's asking for you to do it. So,
They have to challenge his own self.
you have to challenge what he's asking you to do, and you can do it. If you look at the opinions from the Supreme Court of South Carolina, the Sunoco Products case back in 2008 versus South Carolina Department of Revenue, and this is based on taxation. There was contiguous one, and a tax on the one. But in that opinion, the Supreme Court provided some guidance, I think, to us. Specifically, they said that we believe the text of these statutes reflect the intention by the legislature to broadly construe and apply the term contiguous. In each of the sides statutes, contiguity was not destroyed or defeated by an intervening dedicated road or public right of way, which is what you have here. And furthermore, they said in the same case, and I'm jumping a few paragraphs. A but means to be contiguous. However, a but does not always mean there must be an actual contact. Property may still be deemed to abut the road when there is some intervening natural barrier like a stream or a river. So, in the context of zoning, the words contiguous and abut are not, they've not been interpreted to be strictly curious, as other places in state law might be more strictly construed. We actually had a surveyor look at this at one time. He felt like the property was contiguous and extended property line. It doesn't look like it on the GIS, because GIS maps are not always accurate. When you look at the survey plat that's provided as part of the road construction plan, the extended property line appears to be synonymous with the property line of this property. So for zoning purposes, I'm very comfortable with the property is contiguous. I wouldn't say it for all purposes.
Ken, I would agree with you if you had only an intervening highway or stream or something like that between the properties. These properties don't abut each other. You don't have an intervening stream that's the only thing making continuity. These properties are offset like this. And the property in town and the property in question are not crossing each other. They're offset. I've got two surveys from the Register of Deeds office. I've got Highway Department map here. I've extended those property lines on Highway Department map with red fine point pen. They parallel each other. And if you look at the courses and distances on the two plats of the individual surveys, there's no way they intersect.
Well, I don't think they have to use that under case law that is read, but don't forget in your analysis, it's not only US 701, by the way, that's in play. It's also the driveway used to protect the property belongs to the DOT. And they own that too.
But even if you pull that out, that would not make continuity. Continuity is defined. Statute defines continuity. In the annexation statute 5-3-305, For purposes of this chapter, contiguous means property which is adjacent to a municipality and shares a continuous border. Continuity is not established by a road, waterway, right-of-way, easement, railroad track, marshland, or utility line which connects one property to another. However, if connected road, waterway, easement, railroad track, marshland, or utility line intervenes between two properties, which but for the intervening connector would be adjacent and share a continuous border, the intervening connector does not destroy contiguity.
So we talked about this before, and, in my opinion, it's not altered. It's on for annexation purposes. I'm satisfied that it meets the continuity test as I read case law. And because the only person that could challenge it under the case law is the person that's asking for it, I'm very comfortable with
I'm sure he won't challenge his own self.
And that's fine, and I believe in doing things right. But if you don't assure yourselves these things meet the definition, now we're in the business of redefining what's close enough to annex. Is it gonna be 50 feet next time, 500 feet, 2 blocks down, just because it's close by? That's what we do. We set a precedent for the future. It's probably a precedent we don't want to set. Tax case, I read it numerous times. Ken, you and I talked about it. I told you I'd be glad to sit down with you and share the maps. You chose not to. You got to understand that case in the context of which it is, the facts underlying that case. The line you read about the intention of the legislature to broadly construe and apply the term contiguous, you got to understand what Sunoco was alleging. They're alleging that the roadway broke continuity between two parcels they owned, and they owned the underlying right of way the road ran under, because they were trying to get a lower tax assessment. They were opting for a very strict definition of continuity. A roadway breaks before, some other thing breaks it so they can get a lower tax ratio. And that's when the court said it's been construed broadly, and then they cite specific examples. They cite the definition of continuity in the Title V, and then they talk about another definition somewhere in here. So I would respectfully disagree with your analysis. It's got to at least touch, they've got to at least touch each other at one point. We don't have that. Everybody's admitted that we don't have it. And I just don't think it meets the basic test that it's got to be contiguous. If you get the highway department to give us a petition, a letter of intent saying it's okay to annex a portion of the roadway to make it contiguous, we can do it by ordinance from highway department property and this property at the same time. It will be done for
Based on what we've heard from Councilman Suggs, based on the things we've heard from our attorney and from city administrator and from the DOT, council will make a motion to annex this piece of property.
And I will read one more sentence out of that particular case you cited. It says, however, the Supreme Court has never held that non-adjacent properties not incidentally separated by a road, railway, or waterway are in fact contiguous. It's 309 South Carolina 602. The Supreme Court has never held that non-adjacent properties not incidentally separated by a road, railway, or waterway are in fact contiguous.
They did
Isn't
say
that the argument, is that he's saying that they are separated by a right of way and a roadway?
But they're not. If you look at the properties and the property lines on the surveys, they're not. They're offset. If they were like this and the road are in between, there's no question about it. But they're offset, they don't touch each other, they don't touch, the property in question doesn't touch the city limits.
Well, the surveyor says it does.
Ken, I got 2 surveys, I'm glad to share them with you. I told you that weeks ago.
Listen,
The only intervening property, with all due respect, I'll give them my opinion. Mike has disagreed with me, and Councilman Suggs, in the beginning when I read it, and he does now. There's not an absolute right and wrong answer. What I can tell you, under the other case that I provided to you by Supreme Court, is no one can challenge this except the person who's asking you to do it, property owner. And there are no intervening property owners between the property sitting in annex and the property in the city, other than Shotgun Highway Park. And they don't want to be involved. That's the response we got. We don't want to be involved in the annexation issue. Okay? And so What the council chooses to do with all the information we have is up to the majority of the council. I do acknowledge that we can debate this, but, you know, the Supreme Court of South Carolina tells us a butt doesn't require an actual touching. And I don't think that our debate really is going to trump what they said.
Yeah, honestly, it doesn't seem like anybody, is against it.
Well, but that's up to the council as a whole. You know.
Well, I'm not against annexation. I embrace annexation, but it's got to be done right. That's my whole point.
Well, I'm gonna ask Councilor Dan.
Attorney Moss, I had a question, I'm sorry.
So,
Man, the property that has the right of way that runs beside it, is that one of the interventions that you're saying? Or any of the properties on that side of the road in the city limits, or only the one that's across the 701?
my knowledge is only the one that's across 71. You have two parcels of property that are, if you cross 701 from the petitioner's property, you run abreast of a boundary line between two properties, one of which is in the city and one of which is not in the city. Okay? When I looked at the DOT construction plan, it appeared to me that the extended property line matched the property line in this parcel. But I don't think it matters anyway, because the only thing between the property that exists in the city limits and the property that's being installed, the only thing that lies between those two properties is DOT right. I think for the purposes of the continuity test and the butt test, it's another case we meet. So I think it's up to council to decide, and already to set a precedent of how contiguous is contiguous, so what are you going to require of the butt? Because we know it, and butt doesn't require an actual touch, and the Supreme Court told us that. And I think it's just up to the pleasure of the council as a whole, and I acknowledge you will be setting some of the precedent by the city.
It's probably one that won't be repeated.
I mean, it's a very defensible position. Whichever decision you take is very defensible. But in reality, there's no one to challenge it other than the person who's seeking it. And if he's seeking it and he's granted an accession petition, he hardly is going to be able to challenge that. If you deny it, you might be able to challenge the denial. You can't challenge the acceptance.
Right.
So I think it's just all the point where the council can make a decision.
It should be an easy decision.
That's not the point, whether it can be challenged or can't be challenged. I mean, you know, somebody can embezzle money from you. I have no standing to challenge it. You do, but if you choose not to, it doesn't negate the criminal act that happened. It doesn't negate the breaking of the law. So the fact that somebody can't or won't challenge something shouldn't even be part of the discussion. We ought to do things right, the way they're supposed to be done. The fact that nobody will likely challenge it shouldn't be a consideration. Oh, I hope that's not the Christ.
Well,
I think we need to go ahead and take control of this and vote
I think it needs to be a council decision.
and let the council make a decision. And I think we've got more than enough, information to make this decision. So I would like to know if anyone on council would like to make this motion about the annexation of this property. So, I think annexation of this property is a good idea, in my opinion. But it's all down to council. Anybody want to make a motion to annex this property? No motion?
I make a motion.
Thank you, Councilman Goss. I need a second on that.
Second.
You got a second? Let's take the vote on that by roll call.
Councilman John S. Dawes.
Yes.
Councilman Lewis C. Homer Jr. Councilman Andrew A. Holden.
Yes.
Mayor Todd Evans.
Yes.
Councilman Michael B. Suggs.
No.
Councilwoman Jan Udisco.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Motion passes for annexation. Move on, the motion for, go into executive session. Second.
Mayor, let's please note on the minutes that we're going into executive session to discuss the 4 items detailed on the agenda.
Discussion on personnel matters, contractual matters, litigation for reference case, and discussion on economic development matter, executive session. We got one motion from Councilwoman Goss. Get a second.
Second.
All in favor?
It's chilly.
Hot in there.
Hot. It feels like, you know, air going off in there. I'm cold later. Here. Chilly. That was good.
Get a motion. Second. All in favor? No action taken. Executive session.
Mayor, based on discussion, this evening, I'd like to make a motion to authorize, Attorney Moss and City Administrator Clay Young to negotiate the purchase of a parcel of real property assessment.
Second on that.
Second.
All in favor of that?
Aye.
Motion passes. Anything else?
Mr. Mayor, we discussed the pending lawsuit that was technically settled in mediation, and I would appreciate council's decision by motion and vote on that issue.
I move to accept the terms of that
Yes.
settlement lawsuit.
Yeah, that's second motion.
All in favor of that? Motion passes also. We get right on to the departmental reports. Public Works.
Not really, I'm good.
Okay, recreation.
Tim couldn't be here tonight. He's, at football practice and the beginning of our fall AU, softball practice was starting tonight. But he did share some updates with me for me to share this evening. Fall sports signups ended last week. This fall, we will have an 8U football team, 10U football, 12U football, 3 12U volleyball teams, and 2 10U softball teams, and an 8U softball team, and 3 separate cheerleading squads for the 73 girls that signed up for cheerleading. Yeah. Anybody out there want to help coach 73 cheerleaders? The fall softball is new for the recreation department this year. That he pursued that at the request of the community. And some of those teams were able to make, and he is going to be, meeting Thursday with 8 other rec directors in our area to schedule fall events.
That's gonna be, like, go ahead, softball, or is what's that gonna be?
That is, my understanding is it's to set up these football, softball, and volleyball games who we will play outside of our own city. That, now that's, I could be wrong on that, but that was my interpretation. Keith, was that yours? What's your
It is,
interpretation?
it's for other recreation departments.
The Morris High School cheerleaders will help assist in coaching, the rec cheerleaders. The Loris High School volleyball coach, and players are going to assist in coaching the, volleyball, rec volleyball team. This coming Thursday night for you football fans, the Loris High School football team and coaches are going to help with a recreation football team drill and practice. So they're really working hard to, keep that line of communications open and have continuity from our rec department all the way through the school system so that we're kind of all on the same page.
What night did you say?
Thursday night.
Thursday night?
And, he says that there's also a strong presence at Watson Park multiple times each week to make sure that that facility, is being maintained. Also, the sports tournaments are still ongoing. Real tourism.
I wanted to bring up, the Watson Park cameras, I finally got it, action where you can go on YouTube and pull up Loris Recreation's, YouTube channel now. And you'll see like 3 cameras live videotaping, y'all's Watson Park, so it's live. And that channel was done also to, they do start filming these curveball tournaments. The families can go on our YouTube channel and watch them live as well. So they'll have multiple channels in there. So
Yeah,
it's
that's really
all
awesome.
running.
And it worked, because I tested it.
Yes, you did.
But I got there for it. When I pulled up, I wasn't on there yet. It took about 5 seconds for me to catch up to my own self.
Yeah.
Anything else on the council?
No recreation.
All right. We got the police department, report. Do you have anything to add?
I'm good, Mayor, unless you guys got any questions.
Thank you
I have a
again for the day's
question.
efforts.
The gentleman that did the driving, I'll say it like that, hazardous driving, was he driving a dark green truck?
No, it was
Okay.
white.
All right, I asked because I was sitting on my porch and saw this guy come from behind Watson Park, driving kind of strange and looking in my direction kind of strange. So I was just wondering who he was and
So this, just to make it clear, because I know there's a lot of posts out there about how Loris is turning into this. This incident did not occur in Loris, it occurred in Conway. And it's a running joke, but we all say all roads lead to Loris for whatever reason. And that's, so the incident actually occurred in Conway. They wound up pulling guns on police, and that's why there was so much police presence, just to try to contain, with school being out and all that, we were trying to contain the area to make sure that no one else got hit. No injuries. There were 4 vehicles that got involved that got hit, but there was no one injured, which is luckily because there was so many vehicles out on the road at the time. So just to make it clear, this incident did not happen in Loris, it just wound up being in Loris.
okay.
And, they were African.
They were apprehended behind the city shop, everyone's safe, and he's on the way to jail.
Good.
Yes.
Hope he gets to stay a while.
I think he will.
Thank you for that. Thank you, like Councilwoman Scotty said, for all y'all do. I mean, y'all in the harm's way every day, all day and all night. And we'd be in terrible shape without you. Thank you. God bless you guys. Fire department, we got a report on that, and we don't have anybody from the fire department here, so. Public and press comments, we can go to that. Any press are here. Yeah.
I do want to just say one thing, can I just say one thing?
Yeah,
People will keep Neil and Tiffany Reeves in their prayers, their community needs to come together because they are having tragic.
yeah, definitely need to keep good news first.
Thank you.
I couldn't fathom what they're going through. Say, anybody done that, they lost a son. They lost a son years ago and they just lost another.
I'm glad that they're children.
So, if we don't have any public and press comments, I'd like to motion to adjourn.
The second motion.
All in favor?
Always smile. You have to. When I have that jump, when I smile. You can't say I never took anger out of anyone.
There you go.